hear me?
You know what's crazy? I don't know that I can hear Linnell, so that's gonna be fun. That was stupid. That was just the work game that is effectively meaningless, and they lose out on the 5th overall pick. The Giants now get a better pick. You basically gave the better pick to the Giants, and now you are of the belief that hey, they should trade back. You can't trade back for the 7th. No one's giving you a haul for the 7th overall pick. There was a meaningless win. I'm furious right now, Linnell, if you couldn't tell. Like, I'm not a happy camper in any way, shape, or form. This was idiotic, and they'll preach about, oh, we were so competitive in what was effectively a preseason game. And while people in our chat be like, I don't care about the grass spot, shut up. This was stupid. This was a bad decision, and they cost themselves. It was a beautifully ironic way to end 2025 because you step on the rake as you head into 2026 and get whacked in the noggin with a pole. I am not happy.
And the worst part about it is they didn't play particularly well. That's the other crazy part about all of this. I don't think defensively, when you consider that you're playing all of your starters and you're going up against the backups of Philadelphia, I thought they moved the ball a lot better than I may have expected. We gave a lot of flack and crap to Josh Johnson a couple weeks ago for how he played in relief spot mop up duty. I thought he was pretty good today. But to your point, like it's so hard to really genuinely care about the football game when you realize that they just self punish themselves when it comes to the NFL draft, man. It's hard to stomach. It's hard to digest it. I don't know what players that this will ultimately put out of reach, but it's a tough way to end what's been a ridiculously weird season. We talked about it ad nauseum during the pregame, just in terms of all the other stuff floating around with this group right now. And I can't wait. Like I said about a month ago, Dan, I said the thing I was looking forward to most coming up next was that end of season press conference. How are they going to try and justify what ultimately happened this year? And now we're one step closer to that. But yeah, like for them to go out and win this football game, like, come on. Well, I now can't hear you.
Now I hear you. Sorry, we're all sorts of all over the place. We're about as competent as the coaching staff is.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan Quinn's wasting timeouts. They're winning a game that means nothing. Tanner McKee, by the way, I was told by the people in Philadelphia that he might be something. That sucks. He is terrible. I mean, he's missing.
He still did well against our defense, though. It felt like
it was so embarrassing. They had the entire starters out there too, and you're like, guys, you can't. You're letting this dude walk up on the field on you. This guy was a joke. Oh my god, just furious.
Yeah, it was tough to watch that part. Shout out to Jeremy Reeves though. He played well. Couple pass breakups, interception.
He was playing for a roster spot. He was the only guy. He just didn't stop.
Yeah, I was super duper impressed by him. Congratulations to Von Miller tying DeMarcus Ware with 138 and a half career sacks. So happy that he was able to hit his milestone. I see some folks in the chat talking about Terry McLaurin. Not enough good things to say about him. Drew penalties this afternoon. Obviously, was in a situation where he's got Josh Johnson throwing him the football, so you wonder how impactful he ultimately would have been able to be. But he made some plays. It's hard for me. I ain't gonna lie, Dan. You kind of set the tone for how you started this. It is increasingly difficult for me to care about the score and analyze the game when they won this game for no reason. All I can think about now is how this ends up screwing them when it comes to the NFL draft. I think you said it a moment ago, though. Them winning the game and dropping to what I believe will now be seventh.
Seventh, correct.
Probably means it makes the trade back more likely in this scenario. We were talking about it during the pregame show in terms of, well, if they got it all the way up to 3, which was a possible scenario here this afternoon, would that lock them into their slot? Now that they've dropped down to 7, I think a trade is a foregone conclusion. And by the way, just early draft talk here. We were talking about this right after the pregame wrap with a fan that was out there with us at Honor Brewing. I don't want Caleb Downs. Don't draft a safety. If they draft the safety, I may find a new team. I swear to God.
Well, I don't mind a safety at 7 now. I would have hated it at 3, the way that some people were saying you should draft him. At 7, I guess it makes sense. The problem is I feel like trading back was a much better option at 3. I don't know who's going to move heaven and earth to get to 7. So, like, are you really that desperate for a second-round pick when you have $80 million and change that you could spend on competent players that you at least know? Not to say that some of the guys coming out are incompetent, but you at the very least kind of understand what some of these other guys will look like.
Either way, Adam Peters got to roll up his sleeves, man. It's time to go to work. At point blank, you got to find a way to add talent to the roster. One group that I do want to give credit to today, and I don't know if you felt this way while watching, that makeshift offensive line that they put together, I thought played pretty well. Brandon Coleman at left tackle, Chris Paul at left guard, Allegretti man in the center spot. I thought they played. Well in that regard. I'm glad that position group was able to close the season strong because they've probably been the most consistent unit all year long. So happy to see them close on a high note.
How well do you feel about Brandon Coleman?
I kind of just threw his name in there. Okay, wasn't the best. Wasn't the best outing, but I think for him, he projects as a guard. So everything you're seeing from him right now at tackle is, and today was probably of the what 3 games that we've seen him here recently. I think today was probably the worst. But like, I kind of take the good with the bad when it comes to that because he's supposed to be playing inside a guard anyway.
I mean, if you felt like really good and you really wanted to add more picks, if he was like awesome at left tackle, that you got a chip that you can move. But no, I kid. I would keep Laramie Tunsil and I would keep him for as long as he wants to play here.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of walked into that. I thought you were trying to set me up to slander Brandon Coleman, but like he was okay. Like he's never going to be perfect. I don't think tackle is his ideal position. We had this conversation. I think I'm off of the whole potentially trade Tunsil thing. We're going to see, though, what happens at the negotiating table because it's different when you're, disrespecting Buddy Baker. You're not going to disrespect Laramie Tunsil, Adam Peters, at the negotiating table. So.
No, not quite. And he has a little bit of different management in there as well. So you'll be able to swing a little bit. I was like live watching this Cardinals and Rams game in the hope that maybe something, awesome.
What the hell's up with the Rams?
I mean, they got with it late. Stafford, I think, wanted to really win MVP in the fourth quarter. It would have been nice if the Cardinals had won and Washington lost, but I mean, I still can't get over the fact that they just decided to mess around. Like Philadelphia's defense did not want to stop them at all. Like literally at all.
It was a group full of backups for the most part, man. I'm disappointed, I guess, that they won the game. But I do, and Ross Tucker was saying this during the broadcast when he met with Dan Quinn during the week for pre-production, like, the guys in the locker room want to win. So I am this amount of happy for them just because they got another win. But, like, now that moves us to what? A 5-13 year? 5-12?
Year.
5-12
or 5-12. 5-12. Hooray. Yippee.
You were literally 12-5 last year. Now you're 5-12. So that's tough.
By the way, how did we feel about the Ben Simmons false start situation?
I'm ready to change his number, give him a number in the 40s, and make him a damn fullback.
Just
make him a fullback, bro. Like that's where I'm at with him. I thought C-Rod ran hard too when he got his opportunities. I was curious to see how the carry split was going to ultimately go, considering how well Bill played last weekend. But like I said, I think Chris Russell had the best words on the pregame show earlier this afternoon. It's just so hard for me to raise my give a damn level for anything that I'm watching here with this group down the stretch because nothing that they could have possibly done, there was nothing they could have possibly done to make me go, next year, because it doesn't really matter. By the way, how good was Jazon Newton today, boys and girls? How many times did you hear his name called?
Not a single time. Didn't see him. Forgot he was on the field.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, there's a lot of dudes that I feel like I barely saw. I know Bobby, got 2,000 tackles. I feel like I barely saw him. I don't even know if the broadcast addressed when he got his 5th tackle because he got his 5th tackle on where it was effectively a push out of bounds. It was like the most anticlimactic for one of the best tacklers in the history of the NFL. It was like an anticlimactic way for him to hit that mark. Yeah,
I mean it's tough. I see people in the chat are starting to get on the Ben Simmons thing. I didn't see that being a talking point post game. I'll be honest. But yeah, for Bobby, like happy for him. I think Kevin said it while we were interviewing him, and I agree with it. I just don't have the kahunas, I guess, to say it on air. I would be down to possibly bring Bobby Wagner back.
I don't mind it. I don't want him to be the primary linebacker. I don't mind it. I do not. I don't know that. Did you see Kane Madrano at all play defense? I don't think I did.
No, I don't think I saw him register a single snap, despite all of what was happening. There is someone's car who's currently feels like it's getting broken into. I'm gonna move the location so I can move this because that was awful. But no, this is it sucks that it wrapped up this way. Honestly, it really felt like for most of that game we were gonna lose.
It did. It did.
Somehow, some way at the end. But
I also
they
did
pulled
not
it
know
out.
that I had not registered that Josh Johnson hadn't thrown a touchdown since 2021. They said that on the broadcast, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh wow, like that's a very long time."
Outside of him not having any athleticism to get the high snap, he was pretty good. Thought he played pretty well.
I thought he looked fine. He's not.
Did you think?
Imagine
go ahead.
that's it for him. Like I can't imagine he plays again at 39, but I thought he looked fine.
What if Marcus goes and gets a job and he's our backup next year?
Do you really want to have a 40-year-old backup?
It's not ideal. It's not ideal.
I don't know if Marcus will get a job next year, though, as a starter.
Yeah,
he might be a little too old.
And I think there's not that many quarterback needy teams that need a bridge per se.
Yeah,
but did you think? I was going to ask about one play call in particular today, that the flea flicker. What did you think of the flea flicker call? It felt like Cliff was giving a big middle finger to Adam Peters and Dan Quinn.
It did. It felt like a flicker, that's for sure. Like, what is he doing right now? Oh Lord, I didn't love that one at all. But whatever, man. Like, it didn't kill it. I guess so. Whatever.
Doesn't move me one way or another. I pick up what you're putting down. But
I will say I do kind of like. We've talked about this before. If we can be, I've been told I'm being too negative in the chat. My bad, chat. My bad.
Well,
I did like Treylon Burks. You know, he didn't get targeted a lot in the second half.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to see Terry come out to get Treylon Burks a lot of targets. But I think there's something there to at least bring him back in camp, see if he can make the final 53. If he's like your wide receiver 4 next year because you've upgraded the position, I would feel pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, he's made plays every game that he's been here in DC. I think he's got probably the second best contested catch ability on the team. I think it's cool to watch him block. He looks like a guy that has a newfound outlook on life and a new appreciation for the opportunity he has here as a failed former first-round pick. That changes scenery is a lot of the times all that you need. And, credit to him, he's made the most out of his opportunities, man. I hope to see him get more.
I hope so, because I think there is a little bit of something there. And just having a big body that can make some plays on the outside is certainly nice to have. I did like how he went for the one-handed snag while he was being held again.
Well,
I was like, all right, I see it. I'm with it.
He gets it, though. He's first team all effort is how I would give it to him. He always plays hard, blocks, runs decent routes, fearless going over the middle of the field. There's a lot in a lost season in which there wasn't a lot of positives. He for sure is one of their cool developers.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Anything else that stood out to you that you loved? We can give game balls if you want to give game balls out. I don't know how much you want to do that, but we can do it if you would like.
Jeremy Reeves, for me, gets a game ball. Like I said, love the way he's played down the stretch, producing the ball once again. It's going to sound random. Percy Butler just continues to show he's one of the best gunners in the NFL. I know he hasn't really figured it out and found a role defensively, but every week he makes a play on special teams and it helps Tress Way be the Pro Bowl punter that he is. So that's Josh Johnson, I guess, gets a game ball for me as well. He was good for the most part. John Bates, do we give love to John Bates?
Hey, caught a touchdown pass. He was wide open too. Showed a little bit of vertical. Those white legs got some bounce.
I was about to say, man, it's crazy though. Every time that John Bates makes a play, I wish it was Ben Simmons. So
it would have been like kind of beautiful if Ben Simmons had gotten the false start and then ended up catching the touchdown pass.
Yeah, I know.
What do you
think is going through? What do you think is going through his mind?
Well, nothing during the snap. I would like him
Yeah.
to know the snap count. I have no idea. I think you're right. I think he's a fullback, and that's a really tough thing to be in
Yeah.
2026 because there's just not a lot of leeway there. He's a hell of a blocker. I don't think anyone can argue that Ben Sinnott blocks his ass off. But
Yeah.
if you're looking for a legitimate playmaking tight end, there's not one on the roster right now. Assuming that Zach Ertz. I mean, look, man, Zach Ertz is going to be a year older next year, and he's coming off of a massive knee injury. I don't think it's realistic to expect that he's going to be back in any way, shape, or form at a high level. So I have no idea what they're going to be doing at that position because John Bates is a blocker, Ben Sinnott's a blocker, but two blockers and no pass catcher. It's not great.
No, it is not. I'm curious to see like what they do with the room because you need a legit pass catching target at that spot. We know Bates is not that. We know Sinnott is not that. I know a name that was getting traction last night was Cade Otton, the tight end for the Bucks. Guy that can block, decent receiver. Would you bring him in at a mid-tier deal? Obviously, we talked about Kyle Pitts and Isaiah Likely, but I'll be honest, Dan, I'm just happy it's over. I am happy that we can now get into solving the problem. Because we've known for like 6-7 weeks that this thing was trash. Now we get to find out why it's trash. Let's put some band-aids on.
Yeah, solve the problem and get back on your feet in 2026. Final question here. It's Tuesday at noon. Does Cliff Kingsbury have a job here?
Tuesday at noon? Yeah. By 3 o'clock, don't know.
So seems like what? The 3 o'clock deadline.
3 o'clock deadline for that. They seem to move. I wonder when Dan Quinn is going to address the media. I think he's probably going to get asked about Cliff tonight. So
I would imagine that he would. Yeah. It would be. I mean, what are you going to ask about the game? Like, Lord, you got this story here in a game that meant nothing. Yeah. You better ask about Cliff Kingsbury.
I wonder too. I think we mentioned. I don't know if we mentioned this on air during pregame or if we were just talking about it during a break. Bob Myers was in attendance today. Felt like all the big powers that be were around.
He's a big silly.
About to be made. So
yeah, Bob Myers ain't coming all the way over here from California for nothing.
Yeah, big shot, Bob, baby.
Big shot, Bob. All right, he's been at Willingham for the final time of the 2025 season, although we are in 2026. We sign off here. We'll see you guys again next year, and we will all pray together that it is way better than the product that we saw this year. We're out of here.